Good morning, America. My name is Gabriel Cooks. Welcome to the channel. Recording in my backyard. It's a little noisy. The cops are flying around. But you know, it's a beautiful day. I thought I'd record out here. I'm 18 years old. I live in Brooklyn, New York. It's 2020. We all know a lot has been going on. It's election year, so even more has been going on. All this political, social, and economic turmoil going on in our nation. All this agenda pushing and pandering by politicians. And I've been doing my best to keep up with these events that have been going on as a citizen, such as George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Rayshard Brooks. And I felt like I had a responsibility to myself to investigate all of these incidents and take what the media says with a grain of salt. I don't see a younger voice being represented in the media today, even in YouTube, Instagram, in terms of political opinions and just current events in general, and I felt it shouldn't hurt to put my voice out there. Today I wanted to talk about the Bubba Wallace and Nascar events that happened last week and the week before. If you have any new info that would help me out with my content, or if you have any disagreements, make sure you put that in the comments below so we can talk about it. Without further ado, let's get into the commentary. Who is Bubba Wallace? From what I've read about him, he's mixed race and he's considered the only black racer in NASCAR. He's a supporter and he's sponsored by the Black Lives Matter movement. He's also very outspoken in his efforts to have the Confederate flag removed from NASCAR events. I've been hearing people trash him in NASCAR and compare him to Jussie Smollett, but I wanted to wait until I got all the information, all the facts were out before I passed judgment on the matter. Firstly, I wanted to say that I loved the show of solidarity by NASCAR and the NASCAR teams during these uncertain times in the nation. It was nice to see. What wasn't nice to see was people not listening to the valid claims on both sides during the preliminary stages of this and just calling people out and calling people names that were unjustified. So, the story goes that a crew member found this in the garage that the 43 car was kept in. That's Bubba Wallace's car, and this is the photo that was released by NASCAR. So at first I was like, no way, they put a noose in his garage. They put six-figure cars in these garages, so there has to be some sort of security footage or security system set up. I read that these garages were recently renovated or something to that effect, so it just seemed off to me. I looked at the release picture of the rope and that looks like a noose to me. And I know with COVID going on, they probably weren't allowing many people in the garages or access to them, so I was like, okay, they'll find this guy easily. He's probably a crew member. Then I saw that they brought the FBI in to this investigation, which struck me as strange. I was like, why can't a state or local agency investigate this? And after a little bit of research, I found that since the noose hanging is a federal crime, the FBI did have jurisdiction. They investigated and they later released this report. In a joint statement by the U.S. Attorney General and the FBI special agent in charge of the case, it said that on Monday, 15 federal agents, that's a lot of agents, they conducted interviews, they reviewed the facts, they found video evidence showing that it was there from as early as October 2019, and they decided not to pursue charges after reviewing all the available facts. So basically they're just saying that they don't think it's a hate crime. Okay, so I'm thinking, what's going on? That picture looked like a noose to me. It seemed big enough to fit around someone's neck, someone's head, and something just seemed extremely off about this. The FBI says it's not a hate crime though, which, again, strange. And then the NASCAR president says this. NASCAR finished its investigation, and they say they still don't know who tied the noose. The NASCAR president Steve Phelps said after they conducted an investigation of all the garages across the tracks that they race, none of them found a noose-like knot like the one that was discovered in the garage that Wallace was using. They determined that it was not in place when the October 2019 race began, but created at some point during the weekend, and that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. They said given that timing and the garage access policies, we are unfortunately able to determine with any certainty who tied this rope in this manner or why it was done. We'd like to have complete resolution here and have all the answers. As an average, reasonable person, I'm a little confused. The FBI investigated, and they declared it not a hate crime, but NASCAR's investigation points towards something in the gray area. They said this was the only garage with a knot tied like a noose out of all the garages that NASCAR uses in the country. At this point, I didn't know what to think. The FBI said it was there before Bubba was there. But then I'm thinking, why did the knot have to be so big? Then, I found other images of the knot.
You serious?
So I'm like, hold up a second. The knot in the NASCAR image looks way bigger compared to the other images at least. And then it hits me. Perspective and camera angle. This seems like it was purposefully taken in a manner that would make it seem malicious in nature. It has to be. The other pictures I showed were from third parties, and the first image was the one released by NASCAR, the only one released by NASCAR. My theory is that NASCAR jumped the gun in this case big time, and then tried to cover it up by making it seem worse than it actually was. What confirmed the theory of mine even more was when Bubba got on CNN after the investigation results showed it wasn't a hate crime, and he held to the story that it was a noose. I don't want to point a finger at Bubba because he's not the one who reported this to NASCAR. I could see if he reported it then, there could be some blame going around. I don't know if he was the only one, if he only saw the image that NASCAR actually released. And I don't think it would be fair to pass heavy judgment on him. I don't think he's Jussie Smollett, but I don't think that him reaffirming a disproving claim on national television helps his case in the matter. So a question I had was this failed publicity? Was this a failed publicity stunt by NASCAR? Throughout this whole thing, they were trying to manipulate things and get ahead of the investigation, which kind of sort of puts them in a bad light. Instead of activism, I think they should have released a simple statement along the lines of, there's been an incident in the 43 garage and we're investigating it. Something simple. It lets the people, everyone know that, they're taking this matter seriously, but they're not releasing anything to cause an outcry and put this in the court of public opinion instead of doing an actual investigation that's impartial. I don't think it was a hoax by Bubba either, because the knot was there from before, and I don't think it was a hate crime either. From all this, I think it was a simple misinterpretation, or it could have been something worse, and it blew up into a news hellfire with premature information and blatant overreaction. It should have been investigated first before any claim of racism was made. That's another video I want to make in the future, talking about how everyone claims racism for everything, but that's another video. I think everything at that point should have been considered alleged when NASCAR made the statement, and not certain, as NASCAR made it out to be in the statement. I do believe in the precedent of innocent until proven guilty. It doesn't only apply to people, it applies to cases like this, where misinterpretation can blow things up. I think NASCAR may have been trying to use this for public support of the sport and of teams and gaining fans, but that's just conspiracy speculation for me. If you enjoyed my commentary, be sure to like. I'll be releasing more content in the near future, so I suggest subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss anything I post. As I said before, if you have anything to add, or if you disagree with any of the statements I made in this video, be sure to leave a comment and I'll try to get to it when I can. Thanks for watching. See you next time.